decided to do a little bit of organizing and getting my Candybox challenge and my, oops, let me grab it. And I'm going to do my butterfly challenge. The Candybox is by GB at Income Babes, and then the butterfly challenge is going to be by Brandy Janae at Brandy Janae. So I figured I would start cutting, and I was trying to, well, I'm just going to be honest. I have not quite figured out the budget part, how I'm going to fit it in, but I will do some planning for that when I return from my work trip that I am flying out for tomorrow. So today is Saturday the 15th. I did record the first part of this video on the other day. I've been just trying to capture some content as I have time to record it, and then, kind of think about how I want to edit it and, get it out to you guys in a way that makes sense. Because I don't just want to put content out to just put it out. I want it to make sense, and I want it to be enjoyable, because I know some of you do enjoy this sort of content. So I'm really excited about this. I watched GB do, I don't know that I watched every episode, but I did watch her do her Candybox. And first of all, I really love the colors. I love the artwork. I just think it's really fun, and I really wanted to be a part of that. And the same goes for the butterflies. I saw Brandy when she showed it, and it's just been a few weeks ago now when she first showed it. And I've already watched hers a couple of times, so I'm pretty sure I know what to do, because that's the other part of the battle, is like just knowing how to how to do these challenges. Okay. That's those little cards. I feel like when I printed this, I reduced it or something, but maybe they are supposed to be this small. I'm not for sure, and it's fine. I mean, I've already printed them and laminated them, so it's going to be this way. But I think the butterfly ones are a little bigger. Okay, that's those four. And of course, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just trying to be neat and tidy. But yeah, I love the artwork. I love the concept. I just think it's adorable. So I know there are other boxes. You guys are like, you got like the chocolate ones, the coffee. I mean, Fiona, you got then you did the birthday box, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do all of them. I promise I want to do them all, but right now Andrew does not have the funds to do them all, so we are gonna just do what we can with the money that we have, so that this can stay fun and purposeful. So that is my goal. And even with this one, with the Candybox, I don't think I'll be doing the same dollar amounts that are on the cards that I'm getting ready to start cutting. So I'll talk about that a little bit more when I get to those, because I have to keep it kind of low income, because if you're watching me, you know that most of my funds are going towards paying off my debt payoff plan, which is a whole mess in and of itself, and it has its own playlist. So if you haven't seen that and you're interested in seeing what I'm doing with that, maybe you're in your own bit of a slump and you feel that heavy weight burden on you, go check out my story, and we can root each other on while we work through it. The number one thing, though, is to just make a plan. Whatever your income is, whatever your debt is, You can make a plan. It may not be my plan, but it'll be your plan, and it will help you get out of your debt. We all have to make our own plans. We all have to run our own race and work our own journey. And that's okay if it's different than someone else's. Because there's a lot of people that are already out of debt doing this cash stuffing thing with us in this community. And they're stuffing a lot of money. And that's okay. They've done what they're supposed to do to get out of that. Or maybe they were never in debt. They never did things like I did. I was very irresponsible. So I have to take accountability for that. And I have to get after that. So that's where I'm at right now in my life. So, and I definitely appreciate all the people that have such kind words and encouraging words. It just keeps me going, keeps me accountable. Because if I was doing this on my own still, I'm pretty sure I would still be in the same ridiculous thought process that I was in with YOLO and, oh, I deserve this because I work hard. You know, I deserve to go get things that I cannot afford because I work hard. Well, just because you work hard doesn't mean you act like a fool with money. So that has been my change of thought process that I had to work on in my own head. So, all right, on to some other things though. Let's see. If you did watch my last, I put my budget with me video up, and I also already, well, it's loaded, but I have not pushed the button yet, so you haven't seen it yet. But that one will come out before this one. But my Saturday savings, so that is my collabs and my causes. I decided to call it collabs and causes because I have a couple of different causes that I'm saving for. And I will release that video soon, but it was taking forever to load. But I was at the gym, so I was using my wireless service, which as much as I pay for Verizon, it should work very well. Anyway, what was I going to tell you? Oh, so I did start talking about it, but I did get base housing. So I will be moving on to Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland, the beginning of August. So I'm really excited. I do have some things I need to do to get that all settled. So I haven't quite pulled the trigger on that, so to speak, but I will be doing that. And all of my belongings are in some warehouse in Manassas, Virginia. So when the movers, like the military contracts out movers, so like civilian companies come and they will pack you up, and then the big truck will come and they'll have people that load up the truck and take your belongings away and transport them wherever they need to go. So they came and packed me up in April of 2023 in my condo in Aurora, Colorado, which is right outside of Buckley Space Force Base, which is just right outside of Denver. So when you hear me talk about the condo in Colorado, that's what I'm talking about. But they came and packed me up and took away my belongings, and I have not seen any of that since they left the condo. Look how adorable these are, you guys. So I'm really excited to not just to have my own space, but just to see my belongings. That it's gonna be like Christmas, y'all. It's gonna be like, oh my goodness, I forgot about this, I forgot about this. And then I'm hoping, and I'll only be there like a year because I'm going to retire next fall of 2025. So I'm hoping I will have some time to do some more purging. I do still have some, I'm just checking the microphone. I do still have some belongings of my children's. You know, I did go through a lot of their things from when they were little. I purged a lot in San Antonio when I was in San Antonio. That was during COVID, so I had extra time to, you know, work through some of that and purge. So I hope to be able to spend some time doing that some more before the movers come and pack me up again when I leave Maryland and go to Gulf Shores, Alabama, which is where I plan on building my retirement home, my forever home. I do not plan on moving again. Now I might get, might I get like a cabin in like northern Michigan or something for the summers to go enjoy some friend and family time for people back home. Absolutely, that is a possibility. But in terms of my home, the place I call my residence, that will be in Alabama. And you might ask, why? Why is this girl from Detroit picking Gulf Shores, Alabama? That is a great question. And I will tell you why. So I had already had Jacksonville, Florida. First of all, it has to be a warm, humid, beachy. I want hot, warm, humid. I want beach. I want water. Since I lived in San Antonio, I had the heat, the humidity. I didn't have the beach close by. So I felt like something was still missing in San Antonio, although I loved living there. So definitely loved my assignment there. But it was still like something was missing. So I was looking into Galveston, Texas. So I figured with Galveston, I would get all of that and I would have the cruise port, right? So if I wanted to hop on a ship and go on a cruise, I could leave out of Galveston and all the water I want is right there. Well, when you look at, let me finish, then I'll come back to this point. So then I'm like, okay, so Galveston is on the list, not San Antonio, because there's just not, the beach is just not there. And going to Corpus is, you have to get in the car and drive an hour-ish, and it's still not, that's not a really nice beach. It's just not it's just not what I was looking for. So Jacksonville, Florida was also on the list. One of my best friends lives in Jacksonville. I love it there. I have visited there for work. So I've definitely been to Jacksonville several times, and it's not far from Savannah, Georgia. I love, love, love Savannah, Georgia. Not necessarily for the beaches, because I don't even know that there's one there. But I love that it's like old and full of culture. And I just really I love the South because the people are just so different. They're just so nice. They were really nice in San Antonio too. So Jacksonville. So we got Galveston, we got Jacksonville, and then Tampa was kind of on the list. Tampa, Florida, but I'm like, I don't know. So those were kind of the options. And so I was talking to somebody, I don't remember who, and they said, well, have you ever taken a trip around the Gulf Coast? And I was like, well, not really. I went to tech school back in the 90s in Biloxi, Mississippi. That's where Keesler Air Force Base is. And I didn't have a car there right at that time because we weren't allowed to have cars. So we had to take there was a bus that would take us to the mall. And we're back in the 90s, so we didn't have cell phones, none of that. So anyway, I knew it was nice there, but even back then it was before Katrina, and I can remember the casinos that used to be on the water, in the water, on stilts. So I had been back to that area, and I was like, okay, it's pretty cool. They've built it up since the hurricane. It's very pretty there. I do like it, and they have amazing food, and you can go over to Gulfport and get some great food there as well. But I don't know. It didn't really feel like it could be what you would call home. Not for me anyway. So that was pretty much my experience. That in New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans several times. I love going to NOLA. I go there to party. I go there to go on a cruise. It's great food, shopping, all that type of stuff. So, but not home. That's not where I would consider living. So I was like, well, okay, that's a good idea. I'll do the road trip. So let's see, I got all my Candybox. let me see. Okay, guys, so we have that's a tracker. I think it goes, oh, I got to do it by sections, right? So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. And I think, do these stay in the front? I think they do. And it's okay if I get this wrong because I can always fix it. So let's put it together and then we'll pull this back out to do our butterflies. So anyway, in the summer of 22, I had a class date to go to a military class in Montgomery, Alabama at Maxwell Air Force Base. So I was like, ooh, I can leave class and do the road trip. So there's a whole logistical situation. So I ended up buying my Prius and I went online. Y'all go with me here with this story. It's going to take a minute, but it'll make sense. So I wanted to get a Prius because I've been wanting a Prius for years just because of the gas savings, because it's a hybrid. So I looked all over for the Prius online. And let me do it that way. And I wanted like the it's called sea glass, I think. Sea foam, sea mist. It's the pretty like Tiffany bluish greenish color, like my self-care binder. It's like this color. That's the color that I wanted. So anyway, when you're shopping online, I don't know those of you that have like shopped online for a car, but when it's a car that is desired and it's a good price, like you got to move fast. Like you can't play around. So the first few cars that I tried to obtain, it just didn't work out. So anyway, this particular car was in Jacksonville, Florida at a Lexus dealership, the one that I ended up getting. And it just so happened to have Bestie in Jacksonville, right? Perfect. So I talked to the salesperson, hurried up, he did a video, I bought the car. But I had to get a tow truck because it wasn't licensed yet. So that was a whole process because, let's see, when I bought that, I was stationed in Colorado, but I have a Texas, I'm a Texas state resident because I already switched that over from Michigan because Texas is cheaper. So I had the Texas state residency, my tags and title for the other car were in Texas. So like, and then I'm buying the car in Florida. You guys, it's just, it just gets tricky. It's not impossible. It's just tricky. So I had the tow truck pick up the car and tow it to my bestie's house. And I think it was just several weeks before I ended up having my class start date. So it ended up all working perfectly. So I flew to Jacksonville right before my class, the military class. I flew to Jacksonville, spent some time with Bestie, drove the car from Jacksonville to Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, did the class for 2 weeks. So I had my little car, and then I started the road trip. So I left Montgomery, Alabama. I think it was like on a Friday I left. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think we left on Friday because we graduated that day. And then I started driving down to Panama City, Florida. So that's where I started. So I started my little road trip in Panama City Beach. And you guys, it's so cute. Do you guys like my Candybox? Look how cute it is. I love it with the pink envelopes. I think it's cute. And y'all, I'm not going to be able to do. So going back to what I was saying earlier about these amounts, like there's no way that's $28, $16 for these jelly beans. So I am just going to have some different amounts than what's here. So I think, yeah. So if you do this, wait, let me make sure. I think it's if you do 65, 5,580. Well, that doesn't add up. Okay, so I'm missing something here. I will figure that out. I was thinking that the sections add up to equal the amounts that are on the total, but maybe you have to do it X number of times to get to these amounts. Like January says $465. So, oh, is that if you do the whole thing and then you start over maybe? Okay. So maybe the idea is, let me get my calculator out because now I'm curious, y'all. I'm just nosy. All right, let's check it out. Some of you are probably yelling at me because you may already know that, but I don't know that. So we're going to just figure it out. So we got what the fluff. Here's the scoop. Let's just see what the Candybox does. Oops. So 65 on that one. And then 70. And then 75. And then 80. And then 85. And 90. Oh, okay. So, ooh. Okay, so these are for some ballers that can put this much away in 1 month's time. And then you just do it each month. And if you can do that in each month and check it off as you go, you would save a total of $5,580. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to do that right now, but I'm gonna tell you guys what, when I'm out of debt, oh, this will be very attainable. Okay, so that's good to know. So I'm glad I deduced that on my own. Okay, so we are done with the, we're going to put this little rubber band around our little gummy cards, our gummy bears. Put them in our cute little Disney box for now. Okay, and that one is done. Now we'll work on our butterflies and I'll get back to my little story. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I already told you I drove the car. I left. I started in Panama City Beach, and that is where the trip started. So I drove around Panama City. I did have a colleague that lived, she was stationed there at the time. So I went on Tyndall Air Force Base. I walked around, you know, I'm just sightseeing. I wasn't purchasing anything or looking for anything in particular. I drove around some neighborhoods around the base, and I just wasn't feeling it. I was not feeling it. I looked at real estate prices, and it just you know, you can feel it. Like if you've ever used your intuition, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I implore of you to, you know, try to tap into that. So I kept it moving. I kept going west along the Gulf Coast. And I don't remember exactly everywhere I stopped, but I did stop. I did try to stop in like every little city along the way. So I don't remember where I stayed the first night, because I ended up, as I kept going west, I remember having some fun in Destin, Florida, in the tourist area. So I think that's where I ate dinner. I watched the people that came in off of the, oh, what is that called when you take like a fishing charter? They were just coming back from their fishing charter with all of the fish that they caught. And so it was, you know, they were having a great time. Let me just put it like that. They were excited. So I saw that. I rode the cable thing that goes, it's in the sky and it kind of goes along the tourist area. So I rode that. I had a good time, but it was like more touristy. So I drove around some neighborhoods and I, you know, looked at real estate, and I was like, this is not it either. I didn't feel it. So I just kept going. So as I kept driving west, I remember like Mary Esther, maybe, Florida. And then I went to, I don't quite remember, but I do remember as I got along it was called the Emerald Coast, maybe. Oh, wow. It was beautiful. Like, it was a beautiful drive. It was like getting dark. And then as I kept driving, and it might have been good that it was getting dark because I couldn't really see where I was driving, because it looked like I was driving in the water, but I wasn't, obviously. You're like, what is she talking about? Any of you that know, you know. If you drove around the Emerald Coast, it looked like I was like on a sandbar that was made into a road. So anyway, did all that, and then I think I'm trying to remember. I think when I got through there, did I end up being in Pensacola? Is that where Pensacola was? Because that's where I stayed for the night. I think that might have been where I stayed. So I'd had a full day. I was tired. Oh, and I did stop somewhere in there and drank wine at a nice little winery. Like I do all that type of stuff. So I'm definitely an explorer. Call me Andrew the Explorer. So I did that, and then I was in Pensacola. I remember Pensacola being next. I don't know if that was next, but that's what I remember. So anyway, I did some activities there, and I wasn't really feeling it there either. So Pensacola, but it's nice there because it's a big Navy community, so a nice military presence. And I do want to be, somewhat near military presence because I want to be near the Veterans Administration Hospital because I'll be able to get care. I do get some of my care at the different VAs. So like I started in Detroit, San Antonio, Denver, and now the Baltimore VA because I was regular Air Force and I switched over to the Air Force Reserve and then the Air National Guard. So I am considered a veteran. Do already have a disability, but it's not, I'm not saying it to make it sound like it's a big deal. It's just in case you're like, wait, she's still active. How does she go to the VA? That's how. So that's why I want to be near a military community. And of course, like the camaraderie, because people that were military understand like some of the things that you talk about. So that was Pensacola. And so I got started like that next day and got into Orange Beach, Florida. And I really loved Orange Beach. But again, I'm like looking at the price of real estate and taxes. I was just like, oh boy. So when you're crossing over from Orange Beach, Florida, you cross into Orange Beach, Alabama, and there's like no difference. It's beautiful. It's coastal. There were shops. There were plazas. It was just really pretty. So I just kept driving. And then when you leave out of Orange Beach, that's when you come around to Gulf Shores. So Gulf Shores was like the next. Oh wait, did I have to go to Mobile first? Was Mobile after? If my geography is a little bit off, I apologize. Either I already went through Mobile and I didn't like Mobile, or I went to Mobile after Gulf Shores. I don't remember which one. I did go through Mobile. I didn't like it. Okay. So when I got to Gulf Shores, you guys, that feeling that I was talking about, I felt it in Orange Beach too, but it was a little pricey because it's like high-rise condos overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. It's really pretty. So I got a single income, and you guys already seen my income with me working full time. So, and you see my debt, so I can't afford that stuff on my own. So I have to be practical about my retirement income and like, being able to take care of myself in case I don't find my sugar daddy. Y'all know I'm advertising. Just kidding. But I'm being practical, right? So real talk. So this is where I'll come back to that point that I was going to say earlier. But when you compare what you can get for $400,000, because that's like my max that I'm comfortable with a retirement income. So when you compare what you can get for $400,000 in those different places like Jacksonville, Galveston, and then Gulf Shores, it's not even, it's an easy choice. It is an easy choice. And I will put the picture here just so you can see for yourself. You can see the numbers. So I can get a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, brand new build in Gulf Shores, or Foley, which is just north of Gulf Shores. And I think there was another, I think there was one more city name. I don't remember what it was called though. And the taxes are like they're like nothing. And the HOAs are much cheaper. Like, it's like a no-brainer. It is an absolute no-brainer for me. And so that is what I'm going to do. And that is why next weekend, I already have an agent there, and she is setting up a few visits for me to visit different communities that builders are building in. And I hope to find my community. I've already looked up the places I can potentially go teach spin class. So I'm already like doing all my little research and different goals for when I retire next year. So my goals for 2025 are going to look a lot different than my goals for 2024. And I'm excited for it. So I think that was a long story, but I hope that was I hope I didn't already tell that story. And you're like, oh my God, she already told us this long story. I'll edit that out. And she already told us that long story. But I think it's helpful for some people that, you may not really feel like anywhere is home. Like, especially my military colleagues, a lot of people that were raised as like military brats, and you don't really like have anywhere to call home per se. It's just a way to deduce and kind of come up with a plan. So I do love the mountains though, and I will tell you, like, I will always visit Colorado. Utah is beautiful, and I know there's some places that I haven't even scratched the surface of yet in the country just to go see. In the West, like the West is beautiful. Like driving through, well, Texas wasn't, because there was a whole lot of dang windmills everywhere, all the way through Texas from San Antonio until I got to like, what was that, Abilene? Like going like northwest to get into Colorado. Well, you get into New Mexico first, but yeah, it was like windmill city. Anyway, so when I got into New Mexico, oh, that was pretty. New Mexico was very pretty, and there was a lot of pretty colors on the I don't know, the landscape. It was just beautiful. And then getting into Utah was beautiful. So because my time there was cut short, I didn't get to see everything that I wanted to see, but I know it makes me want to go back. So I will definitely be doing that. But it wasn't where I wanted to like settle and live when I retire. I want the water. I really, really want the water. And the white sand beaches in Gulf Shores are just beautiful. So, okay, so for the butterfly savings, and I'm so glad Brandy put, oh, she didn't, she just put one net per butterfly. So when I end up catching the butterfly, then I have to pay for a net and a tracker, right? Plant tracker, 1 plant per butterfly. Oh, I got to get a plant. And then this says ×4 per butterfly. So I think whenever I catch a butterfly, I have to do my 4 rolls for the life cycle of the butterfly. But then I have to have these items to also keep the butterfly and feed the butterfly. So this is going to be a lot of fun doing this one. And I only have I have a lot. So what I might do here is, I think I'm done with story time. I mean, I could talk about more things, but I don't know what you guys want to know. So I don't want to just be talking and you guys are like, why does she just keep talking so much? Like, this video is long enough and she's just talking the whole time. So I guess let me know the type of things you guys want to know, because I don't want to be like oversharing. But yeah, I'm excited about this butterfly savings, and I will go ahead and shut up now, and then I'm going to fast forward through these parts of the video. So if you've been watching my channel, you know that I did make a video when I went on my trip to Florida and then Gulf Shores. I got to see some beautiful places, and if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead in my list of videos and go ahead and check that out. It's basically how did I, look at some new builds just to kind of decide what I want to build. I'm cutting up the last of the butterflies here, and then the other parts of the challenge need to get cut as well so that I can get this butterfly box ready to save with. I'm almost done in the video, and I just want to say thank you so much for joining me while I share with you and we can save together.